Good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. I stayed up late last night. It was raining a lot yesterday, so it's really wet out, and I'm getting a late start today. And so I thought that I would have a second cup of coffee and talk to y'all. I haven't made a serious video for a while. In the last week, I have met with a mutual assistance group that wanted some advice on a couple things. And so I met with them, and then last night I did an interview with the Homestead Nation. And the same question came up in both discussions. And so I thought I would talk about that with y'all, since I've already shared it with other people, right? And the question was basically, along the lines of, what do you consider the biggest threat to us? And I think both groups were looking for something like, coronal mass ejection, EMP, war with Russia and China, the moon tetrad, pandemic flu, CERN firing up, something like that. And I have actually been thinking about this. And, the reality is, of all those things, there's really nothing you can do about those things. And those things aren't really the threat to you and yours. Those things are the cause of the threat to you and yours. And I think the number one threat, dare I say it again, to you and yours, I don't script these videos, the number one threat is starvation. Hunger, extreme hunger to the point of starvation and starvation. That is what is going to get most people. And whether it's war, all those other things that I went over, anything could happen and cause the stop in our supply lines, or the weather to quit making things grow, or disease, or whatever. And you don't have any food coming to your local store, coming to your house. And so, there's a lot of preppers out there, and a lot of preppers watch this channel. But the way I look at preppers, and I could be wrong, I guess a prepper is how a prepper defines it, right? But really, I see those as people who just store stuff. It really doesn't matter how much food you store, you are eventually going to need more. And if the system is totally broken down, if it's just chaos out there, man, hunger could become a real issue. And so start thinking about hunger, food for you and yours. We're not just talking your 3-day supply, your 2-week supply, or even, your 1-year supply or your 3.5-year supply. What happens if your supply disappears, or somebody takes it, or it burns to the ground, or you've got to flee? There's all kinds of contingencies there that you should probably consider. And so start thinking about food, and think about long-term food. Think about producing food, gardens, critters. A lot of people, deer season is coming up, and a lot of people think, well, I'll just hunt. It'll be like free season on deer. During the Great Depression in America, white-tailed deer were almost wiped out. So were turkeys, because they're relatively easy to hunt when you quit following the rules, right? And so I wouldn't count on eating too much wild game as a long-term solution to your hunger needs. Store a lot of food, and have a plan to produce food, and maybe start thinking about storing food in different places. And when I say different places, I don't mean, in that house and over there in that house and over there in that shed. I mean different places, right? Think about that, because I think starvation is your number one threat. Number two threat, second threat, is people behaving badly, right? People, generally speaking, unless you live, in Compton, or, Ferguson or something like that, unless you live Chicago, other places, Loudoun County, Virginia, unless you live in a really bad place right now, people are pretty normal, right? But when things go crazy, people don't like me using the word crazy with people. So when things go crazy, people are going to go nuts. Many of them aren't going to react well. Americans are an incredibly armed society. Everybody's got guns. People with guns could be part of your problem, right? Just crazy people. people who are afraid, people who are scared, people who are panicking, things like that. I remember reading a RAND study one time on what would happen in New York City if terrorists, in Manhattan, if terrorists closed down 2 bridges and 2 tunnels by whatever means, getting in and out of the city. And one of the stunning things that came out of that report was that cannibalism would start within 24 hours. People would kill people and store them for food within 24 hours. Now that's a psychological thing, not a physical thing, but you know, they hire smart people to do their studies. Yeah, people are going to behave badly, and you're going to have to protect you and yours from that. How do you do that? A great way to do that is not be around a lot of people. You know, it reduces the number of people you have to deal with. So if you can get out of her, my people, move out of those cities, you know, get out into the countryside somewhere, that'll do you good. Another thing is to be armed, trained, have security plans and systems up, and realize that once, you know, the event happens, you are now living in a world without rule of law. Your life's going to have to change, and security is going to have to become 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year kind of thing, and you're going to have to change. And it's not that fun, but it's something you can get used to. Probably a good idea to get a hold of some military people for your group, which is the other thing you're going to need. You're going to need people. You're going to need people to pull guard shift. You're going to need people to help move things, But, yeah, I know I said people are the problem, but you want to surround yourself with good people to help take care of the bad people. So those 2 things, starvation and people acting badly, I think that's really your 2 biggest threats. I hope you start thinking about it. I hope you start planning for it. I hope that you do more than just switch to another channel and watch another thing. Take some action, right? Time's short. Take some action now. If you like this video, say so, and if you haven't, please subscribe. All right, I'll see you out there.